Hello Summoners and welcome back to a brand new ProGuides video. My name is Christoph and today I'll be going over the top 5 best AD carries that you can abuse to stop your way out of low elo. This video is meant for players in Iron, Bronze, Silver, or even Gold, but it might also be helpful to players making a swap in Platinum and above. Everyone knows how difficult it is to play the marksman role. Not only do you have to worry about yourself, but you also have to worry about your support at the same time. For new AD carry players, this might be a little bit intimidating, but don't worry, we'll make sure you're ready to hit the rift by the end of the video. Before we get into the video today, make sure you're always pressing that bell button and subscribing to the channel. That way you're always up to date and you'll be one step ahead of your opponents. Without further ado, let's get right into the video. Starting with number 5, we have Sivir, the Battle Mistress. Sivir is one of the easiest champions to play and is extremely one-dimensional. Her main strengths come from her insanely fast wave clear and strong engage, but there is one main reason why Sivir is number 5. She teaches you the ADC fundamentals the longer you play. Although her playstyle is kind of limited, you can still be very flexible with parts of her build. This kind of flexibility is pretty rare, especially among auto-attack reliant ADCs. When it comes to runes, she's compatible with Fleet Footwork, Lethal Tempo, or Summon Ahri for more poke. For items, there's only 2 archetypes that really work, which are full AD poke Sivir or traditional ADC Sivir. However, even with these limited archetypes, Sivir can be flexible when it comes to choosing which Zeal items to build and when to weave in defensive items in between her power spikes. Sivir boasts a strong laning phase and late game carry potential. Having this much wave clear on a champion means that you'll pretty much have permanent lane priority. Constantly pushing your creeps into the enemy turret teaches you how to watch your minimap more often so you can roam to help your jungler. Increasing your map awareness and learning how to use your lane priority is one of the most important aspects of becoming a better player, and Sivir is a perfect champion to teach you those fundamentals. Players who received coaching on ProGuides.com started to become much better at passively watching their minimap after they were recommended to try out Sivir. Lastly, let's talk about how to play Sivir efficiently. During the laning phase, you should try your best to quickly clear the wave while also hitting the enemy champion at the same time. Once you get a lifesteal item, you can pretty much stay in lane forever, since a well-timed spell shield can restore a significant portion of your mana. She isn't the best ADC when it comes to solo killing the enemy laner, but it definitely isn't impossible either. Sivir mostly excels at rotating to skirmishes near the dragon pit and doing a devastating amount of AoE damage with her Q and W. In lower ranks where people are always out of position, you should look to use your ultimate to catch them out and grab a free objective. Next up at number 4, we have Caitlyn, the Sheriff of Piltover. Caitlyn is one of the best AD carries to play if you're new to the bot lane. She's extremely beginner-friendly, has a great laning phase, easy late-game positioning due to her range, and also a ton of damage. Caitlyn also scales very well into the late game. Her build is pretty linear, but there is a bit of room when it comes to which Zeal items to build and in what order. For runes, you'll almost always want to go Fleet Footwork or Lethal Tempo to maximize your damage and kiting potential. The main reason why our Challenger analysts chose Caitlyn to be number 4 on our list is simple. She has everything a beginner needs to win a game. She has a strong laning phase, strong siege potential, a strong mid-game, long range, even a strong late game, good wave clear, and an ultimate to easily clean up a kill. On top of all that, she's pretty straightforward to play, which is really easy to learn and even easy to master. Alright, so let's talk about some strategies when playing Caitlyn. First off, you'll need to become that lane bully. Start asserting your dominance in the lane and constantly apply pressure to your counterparts. Force the enemy jungler to give you some attention and become that pressure sponge for your team. If the enemy jungler decides to ignore you, then you can pretty much become unstoppable during your mid-game power spikes and obtain a massive CS lead on your opponents. But the real icing on the cake is just how easy it is for Caitlyn to solo kill enemies. Her long range allows her to poke out the enemy bot lane with ease and applies tons of pressure every time they try to farm. Next up at number 3, we have Ashe, the Frost Archer. There really should be no surprise seeing Ashe here because she's one of the most basic champions in the game. Not only is she a common favorite for beginners, but she's also pretty powerful. Much like Caitlyn, Ashe has a great laning phase and is somewhat of a lane bully herself. You'll usually want to spam your W whenever you get the chance to chunk out the enemy bot lane during the laning phase. Volley is such a hard ability to dodge because it covers so much area with such a small period of time. Even pro players have trouble reacting to it. Ashe's build path is somewhat flexible but nowhere near as diverse as Caitlyn or Sivir. You usually want to build a Blade of the Ruined King into a Runaan's Hurricane and transition into more crit, sprinkling some defensive items in between. As for runes, you want to be taking lethal tempo or fleet footwork to maximize your damage and kiting potential. The most important reason why our challenger analysts put Ashe in our number 3 spot is because she teaches you how to become an aggressive shot caller. Her ultimate, Enchanted Crystal Arrow, is universally known on the Rift as the everyone drop everything and rush to the fight signal. Once your team sees you shoot this ability, they will immediately rush into the fight mindlessly. However, with great power comes great responsibility. Although you have a game-changing ultimate, it's very important to know exactly when to pull the trigger. Sometimes you'll be too far from your team and will have zero follow-up in a fight. Sometimes you'll shoot your arrow and hit someone, but end up baiting your team to go all in when they shouldn't have. You always have to watch the map and analyze the given situation. Keep asking yourself, should I go in here? Do I have an advantage? How do we possibly lose this fight? Who do I have to hit with my ultimate? Be aware of what's going on in the game and what you need to do to win, and you'll see yourself becoming a better player overall. All in all, Ashe teaches you the important aspects of League of Legends: self-control. And at number 2, we have Miss Fortune, the Bounty Hunter. Miss Fortune is one of the easiest yet strongest AD carries to play, especially in lower elos. Her main strengths come from poking the enemy bot lane with ease while also applying lethal pressure. At level 6, she can easily solo kill her counterparts with a devastating ultimate and take control of the game from there. While champions like Sivir and Ashe are working towards farming during the early game, as Miss Fortune you're going to want to be more aggressive and look for kills instead. Your empowered Q can automatically win the lane for you if you land one at the right time. Miss Fortune also scales decently well into the mid game, and her late game can be pretty effective as well if you know how to position yourself in a fight. Alright, now let's talk about her items and runes. For runes, there's currently a trend in Korean Challenger where you take Press the Attack and rush a Blade of the Ruined King into full lethality. This build path feels pretty good to play and does a ton of damage. Not only can you kite tanks with your auto attacks, but you can also melt every member of the enemy team with your bullet time. Try this out in your next few games and let us know how that goes down in the comments below. The main reason why our challenger analyst chose Miss Fortune to be so high on her list is because she teaches you how to solo carry a game. Although you rely on your support to hold your hand during the laning phase, every single one of your teammates will then count on you to carry them out of the late game. Being able to overcome the pressure of 4 people relying on you to win is something you have to overcome in order to become a better player. If you still struggle with this type of pressure, then please check out our video on Ranked Anxiety. That will help you a ton in-game, especially during Ranked. Finally, at the top of our tier list, we have Jinx, the Loose Cannon. Jinx is the most powerful of the 5 AD carries we've mentioned and is also very easy to play. She does well during all stages of the game and is a common favorite amongst ADC mains. Her build path is somewhat flexible and is very similar to Caitlyn's. Jinx is a hyper-carry marksman who excels at cleaning up fights with her huge burst combos and long-range DPS. She's the most difficult champion on our list, but also the most rewarding if you learn how to play her properly. She has a decent laning phase and can solo kill her enemies pretty easily. She also works well with most supports in the game, which is just a cherry on top of the sundae. Jinx is perfect for those fights at Dragon or Baron where she can take advantage of her long range and look to solo carry a game. Even with all her positives, the main reason why our challenger analyst chose Jinx to be number 1 on our list is because she teaches you how to maximize your damage. Switching between guns and weaving in skills between auto attacks is a difficult task to optimize, but learning this will make you a significantly better player. This skill transfers from champion to champion and is the most rewarding when you master it. Now let's talk about some of the champions that didn't make the list. Vayne, Kai'Sa, Draven, and Kalista are all great ADC pickups if you're at least Platinum or above. The results in lower ranks aren't the best due to their extremely high skill cap. Trying to play these difficult AD carries right off the bat isn't a good idea since you need to have a decent understanding of the game to truly utilize these champions' potential. Ezreal and Lucian are very close contenders for that number 5 spot, but our challenger analyst decided that they are just too hard for lower ranks. The most common problem for Ezreal players in gold or below is that they forget that Ezreal can even auto-attack. We see this happen too often where Ezreals will only use their Q to farm and just straight up miss CS because they refuse to auto-attack. As for Lucian, he is definitely the strongest contender to make this list, but his playstyle is too hard for new players in the AD carry role. As Lucian, you'll have to be weaving in auto-attacks constantly while keeping track of your skill cooldowns, which can be a little bit difficult for beginners. And as for champions like Kog'Maw and Varus, they're just too difficult for an average AD carry main. They're very mechanically intense and also super unforgiving when it comes to positional mistakes due to their low mobility and lack of self-peel. These types of on-hit champions are a prime example of what to avoid when you're starting to learn AD. And finally, as for Yasuo, well, let's just say that this one's better off without an explanation. I'm sure we've all seen what happens when new players play Yasuo. That's it for our top 5 ADCs for low elo. If you like this video, then please leave a thumbs up, comment, and subscribe to our channel to be notified for the next one. If you guys are interested in picking up any of these champions, then please check out the champion guides on ProGuides.com, where you guys will get in-depth knowledge on how to master these champions. If you want to see another video like this, but for a different role, then please comment down below and let us know which role you want to see next. That's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, good luck in your next games, and we'll see you on the Rift.